that someone can take and make 6, 7 figures and learn how to do that in just 3 short hours. But I'm here with Joel Bauer, and he's going to do a lecture for us on Sunday. And Joel, we're excited about it.
It's not actually a lecture, JD, and I want everyone to know that those attending live are going to receive Hustle Hustle, The Magic of Business. This was endorsed by Di Vernon, Daryl Martinez. I miss him. He's a good friend. Horrible way to die. And Jonathan Neal Brown, a man we have mutual respect, and one of the great historians also. Jonathan's amazing. In this book that I wrote so many years ago that I'm gifting to everyone, the principles and practices still work today, but I'm going to cover so much more and make it so much easier, not just corporate and private sector and weddings and bar mitzvahs and all that, but how to generate 6 and 7 figures. I'm also going to gift them my international hardcover, international bestseller, electronically, How to Persuade People That Don't Want to Be Persuaded, with all of the routines and all of the magic and all of the language. So they'll actually have their shows. They'll have the material. I'm also going to gift them my torn and restored newspaper and other routines that I used from the trade show floor with an approach that was very much based upon one of my teachers, the late, great Paul Diamond. 10 years old, I was working with the Paul Diamond Magic Shop. And you can see here some of the crowds that I built in corporate America. I was known as someone who could create the crowd, convey the message, and collect the leads. They're going to learn exactly how I did it. And they're also going to learn that after, generating as a magician in just 10 short years, 10 tax returns from infotainment alone. I have been a 50-year professional practitioner of mentalism, grand illusion. I've got chops. You've seen me. You know I'm the real deal. So they're learning from a magician that happened to figure out the marketing to generate the kind of money that really only Andre Cole, David Copperfield, only a handful of people have been able to manifest millions of dollars a year. In these 10 short years, I was able to retire, and you can see there, $931,000, $1,166,000, with 3 deaths in my family, massive depression and insecurity that ensued. I was able finally to get past it, still make an incredible living for my family, and then break the $2 million mark, $10 million in 10 years. And the reason I'm showing the absolute proof, the actual tax returns, is because what I'm teaching on Saturday in a 3-hour workshop is not theory. Harrison Carroll, one of the great trade show performers, edutainers, infotainers, edu-trainers in the industry, was there when I used to walk into the shows with no business cards, no brochure, no website, and I would generate minimum $25,000, $37,000 per show. He saw it happen live.
3 different clients told me. Joel's clients told me. He was charging $25,000 per show. And he was working constantly. Now, Joel was peerless.
So we're going to reveal the techniques that I used in the private sector, the techniques that I transferred to Richard Steele, where now he's approaching $1 million a year income, and I only shared with him 2 of the techniques. They're going to have all of the techniques that I used. And I was offered $5,000 to share this information with Penguin. And I said no, I turned them down. Stan Allen, I did 4 presentations at One Magic Live. That's it. I haven't shared this in any other environment except for an event put on by Jack Turk and myself as co-producers called How to Retire in 5 to 8 Short Years as a Trade Show Infotainer. I said I would never do that event again, so I've excised the best information from it, and I am going to, in just 3 hours, plus a Q&A for those that are there live, and I realize that a lot of people know that you generally will take a lecture and put it back and make it available, but they're not going to get direct access to me ever again. They're not going to get the free gifts, tools, and downloads ever again. And even though you might put up a portion of this, they don't get it all. They'll be missing all the core elements that would have made all the difference in their life for their family in terms of time and money and freedom and security. And people need security more than ever before. So why am I doing this? Why am I teaching the art of presentation as I did to these magicians? so they could persuade those who normally would say no. There's David Stahl, the historian and trade show infotainer, the expert on Lafayette, currently completing literally an opus on Lafayette's life. Why am I teaching these techniques and making it so simple and giving them the downloads and the skills and the tools in just 3 hours to preserve with integrity their clients and relationships? And how and why would I show them how to generate these considerable profits? Because they don't need to be charging. Well, that's the problem. They're charging what they were charging 30 years ago for bar mitzvahs and weddings and quinceañeras and special events in corporate. I'm going to teach them how to increase their perceived value and make real profit, like I did with Shakuma, who was one of my master implementers, a remarkable man who I had the great honor and pleasure, as many saw, actually came directly from this mastery training and went right to work at the trade shows on the floor with just a little bit of direction. They're going to get so much more than even Shakuma got. And Shakuma's never stopped. He's got this amazing wife, amazing children. I just got to speak with him the other day, and I wanted to make sure his story was shared accurately. They're going to get the marketing, the skills, the tools, the magic. I'm going to tell them which routines. I'm even going to give them additional bonus trainings only for those who attend live. So if you're someone that doesn't want to get up in the middle of the night, if you're someone that's maybe in Germany or you're in Asia or you're in India, because I know that JD's audience is extreme. It's an international global audience. Well, inconvenience yourself. Get out of bed. This will be a defining moment in your life, and you're not going to have access to me. This is not ego talking. I run a major company. I've got major events all over the world, both online and offline, and I'm doing this at the request of Dean Hankey, who said, I want you to consider doing this for JD. I wouldn't do it for Penguin. And I wouldn't give Stan Allen the rights to show it. I'm tipping so much more here. And I'm in deep, deep preparation. So they will have all the elements guaranteed to produce the results that others are unable to produce. They'll be amazed at what they can make ethically and morally. And I'm not asking them to leave magic. I'm asking them to take their magic, embrace it full on. And whether they're an amateur or a consummate pro or anything in between, or they didn't believe that they could do what it is they love and they're compromising their life and their dignity for someone else's benefit, they could actually take their magic from what they learn and what they receive and what is gifted at this 1 3-hour plus Q&A. I'll hang out for a maximum of 3.5 hours. Then I'm off to Hawaii with my family. We've got a wedding to go to there, and I've got events to get back to, and then a master class to run. So this is the only time they're going to have live access to me, and I am putting tremendous work into the actual process. I am laying it out so clearly so that the graphics, the steps, the moves, everything will make it so clear it'll be virtually impossible for them to fail. And JD, they don't need to have all this fancy equipment, but I will share with them the insights that gave me the ability to help myself and other magicians and presenters present online with a degree of engagement that is so rare, the difference between camera and the right microphone, not expensive, so they can present themselves in an unforgettable manner to a very large audience, both online and off. Yes, I created all these solutions. And JD, you know what program I'm on, but I don't think you do this in that program.
I do not.
I think this is pretty advanced stuff. And so because JD asked me to do this, and because I trust him implicitly, because he was referred by Dean Hankey, I am coming to all of you with no secondary gain. I am holding back on absolutely nothing, and you'll be able to do exactly what I do in a fraction of the time, just like Richard Steele, just like David Stahl is currently still doing corporate and trade shows for top dollar, just like the women and the men who trained underneath me. This is the only time I have any intention. I'm 62. I have nothing to prove. If you're worried about spending money with Joel Bauer, don't bring a checkbook. Don't bring a credit card. Just bring an open mind and an open heart. And JD, I can't thank you enough for the opportunity, but I'll tell you something. Anyone who thinks they're going to get this in replay form, think again.
Yep.
You want to be with us live. You want to have me addressing your questions at the end live. And I am not available. There's no other way to reach me. I have a complete team here, our company. We do events, coaching. I get $12,000 an hour as a consultant plus a percentage to perpetuity of the profits they generate, these companies. And I'm sharing with them the techniques and tactics that I learned through the magic industry so that they could position themselves and scale their companies and operations. So I'm doing this as a one-off, and I'm not being paid to do this. Dean Hankey said, would you do this for JD? Would you help 100 magicians, 150? Yeah, I will. I did it once at Magic Live, as I indicated. Once and only once with Jack Turk did we do that 5-day event. And this will be the third and final time that I tip my hand here, because I'm not in the business of training magicians, even though I use magic in my corporate presentations and my communication and my speaking. And all of you will have the ability to transition with your magic into a speaking career that pays 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 times more than what you're generating in the private sector, maybe even in the corporate sector, because most of you don't have a high perceived value for what you do because it's never been framed correctly. You've never been given the correct languaging or marketing approach. So, JD, I want to thank you for this opportunity. And I'll tell you something right now, that Facebook Live did not work again, but I've got the recording. We just did this twice. So I'm going to give him the recording, and he's going to upload it onto Facebook, and that'll be fine. But we did try and do this for you live. This is uncut, unmanipulated. There's no editing here. It's all done in real time. And I just want you to know that I'm not going to be holding back. If there's anything I said that sounded like it was ego-based or an exaggeration, I am so not full of myself. I want to share this with you. And if I hadn't told you about the numbers, if I hadn't shown you the tax returns, if I hadn't talked about the success I've had, then why would you even tune in? Many of you are concealing yourselves. And it's because of that lack of transparency and that lack of conviction, and that you really don't believe that your skills are worth that much, that you underprice, underposition, and are unable to leverage your families and live a life by your own design. JD wants you to have it all. Dean Hankey wants you to have it all. I want you to have it all. And I want you to have what I learned from Paul Diamond, what I wrote about in this book, and all the effects, routines, and structure, plus the additional trainings, gifts, and tools, and where it all started. I want you to have these things for free, only for those attending live. So if you're able to watch a partial replay that JD may be able to position, that's not going to be good enough. It'll be better than nothing. Why not embrace it all? Prepare. Get some sleep before you come. One break, 5 minutes. That's it. At the 1.5 hour, literally at the 90-minute mark, I'll give you 5 minutes. That's it. And that 5-minute break, I'll even show you what that 5-minute break is going to look like. It's going to look like this, a countdown. And then I start up again. I don't waste 1 second of your time. And if you're worried about, well, I don't know if it's going to work,
I know that I have just stepped it up, not 1 level, but probably 10 levels.
So you were handy here. I knew that you were the answer.
And I implemented it, and I started making monetarily between $100 and $300,000.
You know, you're teaching me to use my emotions.
I took it to another level, and I started making just under $2 million.
You helped me find my voice.
You were my next mentor, and I had to do whatever I had to do to be here.
I'm sorry you ran my life, but I asked you.
I will never be the same again. This is the answer. I was looking for something like this for a long time.
Thank you, Joel, for your belief and support.
Not only for our business, but also how we grow as a family.
Once we get all that people in front of us, we're going to be an unstoppable force. And we never would have been anywhere close to that idea.
It feels like I found hope, clarity, and goal.
I literally have hundreds of hours of testimonials of people crying about the money they made as performers, as marketers, from all industries. I cracked the code on marketing as a magician. So you're going to be able to take your magic and you're going to be able to monetize. And you're going to be able to manifest multiple streams of income. And you saw when I changed the timing there, 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. That's 2 o'clock Mountain, 3 o'clock Central, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. You have no excuse. We position videos. We let you know how important this is. And I don't care if you like me. I'm not your friend. And whoever told you this was a fraternity lied to you. You need to make a living. And I'm going to treat you like a pro. I'm going to treat you as if you're investing a minimum of $5,000, $10,000, $20,000 to attend a high-level training where someone only shows you what works and eliminates everything that doesn't work. Because what you're going to find out there is a lot of theory and not a lot of what actually works. And I'll break it down step by step and make it very simple. It won't be real technical. It'll be a real tactical. You'll be able to take your personality and your magic and you'll be able to infuse it. And man, oh man, do I have a plan. And then I will disappear in your life. JD will still be there for you. But what you receive during these 3 hours, that's Sunday. That's this Sunday. 2 days from now, I'll be working all day in preparation for you tomorrow. JD, I want to thank you once again for the opportunity to pass it forward, potentially for the very last time, to help many magicians who could be my children. I'm 62. My son is 26. My middle daughter is 30. My eldest with child now is 32 coming up very shortly here. I will treat you as if you are my family. And then when I disappear, after just 3 hours, you'll have the tools and the skills, the inspiration, the motivation, clarity, the intention to line up all your ducks in a row. You don't have to change what you're doing. But many of you will want to change what you're doing because a lot of you are compromising your lives working for someone else's benefit, where all you dream about is the practice of magic. What if you could actually turn that into a viable income, a massive passive income with reoccurring benefits? And what if you could turn that into your legacy and leave a dynasty for your family? Well, that's exactly the level of teaching I'm going to be giving you. And when I say teaching, I mean, tell me and I may remember, show me, I'll remember more, allow me to experience something and I'll have transformation. I'll teach you on a sensory specific, transformational level, how to turn your magic into a monetizing outcome with numbers that will transcend your expectations. JD, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Joel. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you all have been able to see why I am so excited about this coming up this Sunday. You definitely want to be there. It's going to be at 4 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Central, 2 o'clock Mountain, and 1 o'clock Pacific. Be there live. Be there early, because even though it starts at those times, we're going to open up the doors earlier, and there's going to be a pre-show that Joel has.
The pre-show.
So you're going to want to see that as well.
Yeah, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I apologize. A little latency here. We're on a live IP connection. I'm in California. You're located in?
Right now I'm in North Carolina.
You're on vacation or you're on a trip with your wife?
Yeah, well, I'm up there with my wife doing some genealogy stuff with her.
Fantastic. It takes a genie to figure out genealogy. Rub that magic lamp and hope it's accurate. So I just want you all to know something here. At 12:45 Pacific Standard Time, 15 minutes, I'm going to be showing you my setup. And if you miss out on that, because I'm not covering that, I'll show you how all the cameras, how we fixed all the green screen problems, how magicians are able to deliver and perform online, offline, the difference between low resolution and high resolution cameras, and how I cracked the code on that and was able to do what I never thought possible. I'll show you my exact setup. You can see I'm here wearing flip-flops right now. I run multi-million-dollar events online with this exact setup. And you'll be able to do the very same if you're desirous of that. That's entirely up to you. I will not hold back. I will not conceal. And I'm very excited to be with all of you. Right now, I just want you all to know, and by the way, that little box I was holding in my hand is called a Stream Deck, and I was queuing up the menu. So you're literally just using 3 buttons on average, and then there's other buttons that take you to other places. For example, if I click that one, then I can just write on my pad if I'm doing coaching or consulting. So when Max Maven or Johnny Thompson would help Penn and Teller, when I hired Max Maven, a friend of mine, years ago, to provide consulting, this would be a great way to lie it out. You can see 5 o'clock here, JD and I, so this allows us to amplify that. We can take people absolutely anywhere we choose to go, any point of view, and you're all going to be able to do that with the touch of a button. So don't miss out on the $12.45 entree for the 5-star meal, Michelin star meal, when it comes to monetizing your mastery with your magic, whether you're an amateur, whether you're a hobbyist or a pro. The difference between amateur and pro is $1, whether or not you make money. Amateurs are in many cases better performers, have better chops, and a better understanding of magic than professionals that are working, who in many cases are one-trick ponies. They do the same act over and over again. It becomes polished, and that's great. Nothing wrong with that. But don't ever put down an amateur. That amateur may have never been shown how to monetize. And so what if JD was gifting you the one presenter, the one performer, the one teacher, the one mentor, the one conduit who could deliver all the mechanisms that you needed in just 2.5 to 3 hours, plus up to a half an hour of question and answer with all the downloads, all the resources, all the tools, proven, that have generated millions upon millions of dollars, not only for myself, but the magicians that I've trained who have applied those techniques in both corporate and the private sector. JD.
Thank you, Joel. I can't thank you enough for this. And y'all are going to want to be there. Don't miss it. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
So just make sure you take a look at the link. JD is going to have the link, registration, whatever it is you need. It'll be positioned near this video. This was going to be a live video. We did it live. Now he'll be posting it, and he'll also be mailing on it. So you'll have yet another opportunity to evaluate whether this would be a good investment of your time in leveraging and protecting and nurturing and nourishing your family and your dreams. A life by design, no longer a life in default.